Hello, everyone. I wanted to give you an update on how Tuesday, October 6th went for yours truly. I worked today, but at the same time, I had another situation going on, which was my grandfather was feeling under the weather. And to see the strongest man you ever known to feel weak or under the weather is something that just was unsettling, to say the least. Went to work, but before I did, I said, "You don't look good," because he had a sleeping pad on his shoulder and he was kind of trying to sleep, and you could just tell that everything was bothering him and he was feeling annoyed. And I said, "Well, if you need to go to the doctor, go to the hospital, Yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine. I don't want to go out there. It's just going to pass." He stayed in his chair, watched his TV, did his little word vine. Well, about time to go to first break. Or wait a minute, first let's back up. The doorbell rang for the Meals on Wheels, which was unusual because usually he's right up before the guy even gets to the doorstep. And Peanut was just going crazy in the front room, and I was like, "Oh, that's unusual." So finally he got up to go get the Meals on Wheels when he heard the doorbell. And then he sat down, and I went to first break then after about 11, because my first break's at 11:45. And I had beat the trash men. I was so excited about that. That part was the best part of my whole day. I went into the front room and I said, "Okay, are you feeling better?" And he just looked awful and he said, "I'll be fine." I said, "You want to go to the doctor? You want to go to an ambulance?" He's like, "I'm not your grandma. I don't need an ambulance." Okay, fine. I took the hint that meant leave him alone. I said, "Okay, I'm going to go back to work." Fine. So I went back to work. While I'm at work, I thought, wow, I hear a phone call in the other room, but then I thought I must be hearing things. About, I want to say 10 minutes later, he's walking down the hallway and he just looks in here and he goes, "Called your mom. She's on her way up here going to the doctor." That's all he said. So she arrived, took him out to the doctor. Meanwhile, I worked. Also, Wanda picked up her books today, and good for her on that. And not going to say too much on that. Anyway, meanwhile, back to the grandpa drama. While I was working, I was all worried and upset all day. My stomach was in knots, to say the least. Finally, I find out about, on the first break they said his blood pressure was normal. His EKG looked good, but they had other things that they were suspicious of. They had run some tests. And what I didn't like was Carl sending him over to Sarah Bush. Why? And by ambulance, no doubt. Here I had offered an ambulance earlier. He refused. Takes an ambulance ride when he goes sees the doctor. Our doctor couldn't see him because they were too busy and said the soonest they could get him in was Friday. Well, the way he was feeling, if he was waiting until Friday, it would have been too late. Anyway, went back to Sarah Bush, Mom did, and took him. She followed behind the ambulance. Got there, and they did a lot of tests. And hours later, they just said he must have done shoulder damage because they didn't believe it was his heart. But yet they sent home these instructions. Yeah, wonderful instructions. And what did they diagnose it with? Left shoulder pain. And they say, your scheduled follow-up appointment, of course, is November 19, 2020. You need to schedule a following appointment within 1 to 2 days, but they don't know our doctor. You can't get in 1 to 2 days. They might as well just say, "Good luck." Education materials on the shoulder pain. It says many things can cause it: an injury to the area, overuse of the shoulder, arthritis. The source of the pain can be inflammation, an injury to the shoulder joint, an injury to the tendon, ligament, or bone. It says follow these instructions at home, which tonight I was like, "Oh, did they give you a foam ball to do these?" And he's like, "Nope." So they didn't even send him home a foam ball, which it says squeeze a softball or a foam pad as much as possible. It helps keep the shoulder from swelling. It also keeps it to strengthen the arm. Take over-the-counter meds. Put ice on the area in a plastic bag. Place a towel between your skin and the bag. Leave on the ice for 20 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day. Stop applying the ice if it does not help with pain. If you were given a shoulder sling or immobilizer, no, and he wasn't even given a ball to do these actions. Of course, it says contact a healthcare provider if pain gets worse. If it's not relieved with medicine, which they didn't give him any, new pain develops in your arm, hand, or fingers. Your arm, hand, or fingers tingle, become numb, swollen, painful, or turn white and blue. Get help right away. And that's basically the wonderful instructions that they send home. Yeah. Which, trying to get him to do the exercises tonight, he refused. If y'all watched my Facebook Live, you know what I went through. I worked. I was proud of myself. I could have, caved in and been really upset. But I talked to myself and I told myself, self, you got the holidays coming up. Don't let this rattle you. You've got everything else coming up too. And you know your grandpa would want you to work. So that's what I kept telling myself all day. For the friends and family who checked in on me throughout the day, thank you. That meant a lot. It was a tough day. After work, I knew that we needed some things at the house, so we had to go to County Market. He sat up front while I did the shopping. Got done. And we went through Arby's drive-thru. Came home, tried to talk to him about his exercises, which he didn't want to do. And I gave him one pain pill because he didn't want any more than one of my tension headaches. And that's what he had because he said he had no pain tonight, which was odd. The funny part I thought was funny is if you're ruling out things for pain, you would think in your head, run blood work and find out where the problem is. Now, he had a bandage over his arm. Whether they did all the blood work they should have done, which is on them, I don't know. But to me, our doctor was suspicious that he might have diabetes. To me, I would have been like, rule out everything. While we're out here, do a CBC, find out what the problem is so we can solve it. To me, I don't like leaving stones unturned. But apparently all they were concerned about was it. That's all they cared about. As usual, our wonderful healthcare providers have failed us again. I mean, come on. Shouldn't be rocket science. And I got a Precious Moments catalog in the mail today. Don't know why I got that. I love Precious Moments. I just can't afford it unless it's thrift store or eBay. Just saying. But that was a nice gesture. I got to see some really nice Precious Moment things in there that were adorable, but too expensive for me. I'm going to read some from the book for you. And I do have some Dear Bombshell questions. I was going to put them off, but in the mood I'm in, I'm probably not going to be the sunshiny, brightest bombshell that you're going to get answers from. But I'll do my best, because I need to get my mind off of things. So, take a deep seat.